Hi and welcome to this video. Today we are going to try and figure out why are we seeing this sudden surge of COVID-19 in India even though now we have a vaccine. So let's get right into it. Hi there. My name is Amit and I'm from smartmedicalbio.com, and today we are going to try and demystify why are we seeing this sudden surge of COVID-19 in India. 2021 started with some real great news for all of us, the COVID 19 vaccine. After all, now I understand a lot of us have been very skeptical about the new vaccines that we have seen, and probably rightly so. These vaccines were probably a little bit hurried, given the fact that most vaccines take a couple of years to the minimum to get kind of final clearances. These have been kind of fast tracked, and the fact is that there was a lack of real world data. Nobody can run away from it, and now we are actually seeing real world data, and we are unable to understand where are these numbers coming from. Now, one thing we must understand very carefully before we try to dig into these vaccines is the difference between two commonly misunderstood words: efficacy and effectiveness. So efficacy is basically the reduction in number of cases in a kind of controlled lab environment group of the number of people who have been vaccinated versus the number of people who have not been vaccinated or have been vaccinated with something that technically is called the placebo group. Uh, However, it has to be taken with a pinch of salt because these tests are done in lab conditions, very controlled environments. The real test comes in the second part, which is the vaccine effectiveness. Effectiveness is nothing but the same measure in real world. So basically, what we are saying is the data that we are trying to capture within lab, within maybe 10,000, 5,000 people, has now been exposed to 10 million, 20 million people immediately without having thought of what their health conditions might be, what are the different kinds of bodies this vaccine is going to enter into. And in fact, that is the reason why most vaccines take at least a couple of years to be approved. Real world data is the most important thing for a vaccine to have. And that's something that we really do not have for any other vaccines, not just Indian, anywhere across the world. Now that we have taken a look at the definitions, let's take a look at the 4 reasons why we believe we are seeing this sudden surge of COVID 19 in India. First, virus variations, or as we call it, mutations. Now, this virus, when it initially arrived, since then has traveled across the world and has created its own small little variants across as well. And we are currently in India facing something called double mutation, which is basically, as it suggests, we have got a mutation of two separate mutations which were imported. Not imported is the wrong word, but basically which came to India from different countries, and both of them have created a new mutation which is currently seen only in India. Now, basically, what this means is we have a completely new mutation, something that the world is not bothered about, and we have to fight it alone. Now, most of these mutations die a natural death, but some of them take a much larger and a much more scarier form. As of right now, there is no data to prove that which mutation is kind of more dangerous than the other. All of them seem to have similar kind of characteristics, similar death rates, similar infection rates. But again, as I said earlier, we really do not have real world data. We will only know more about these things as we keep passing time. Also, what is important to understand is that mutations are causing relapses in people. And that's the biggest scare of mutations. The original virus created antibodies in our bodies, right? And we are very happy that now that we have got antibodies, nothing can scare us. Guess what? Mutations don't care. Mutations can actually supersede your antibodies and still infect you. And that's the reason of a huge number of relapses that we are seeing. So just because you've had COVID 19 in the past does not protect you from the same in the future. Second, underreporting. Now, it has been widely acknowledged that during the initial strike of Corona, there was a massive underreporting, not just in India, but across the world. But in fact, in India, it has been widely estimated to be on the scale of 10 to 20. Now, what that means is basically at its peak, when Corona went to 98,000 people in a day, the real data could have easily been anywhere between 18 to 19 lakhs on that day. That's scary, right? What has happened since then is that the reporting has become a lot cleaner. People are getting a lot. People are a lot a lot more comfortable getting tested. The stigma around being corona positive has kind of eroded by, and that has resulted in the numbers being more realistic. More people going out and getting tested has resulted in a more controlled reporting of the real numbers of cases, and that can be a huge reason why we are seeing this sudden surge right now. Third, vaccines do not mean freedom. Now, it has been told to us earlier that the vaccines take anywhere over 2 weeks to be able to develop the required antibodies in our system. And this, I'm talking about only after the second dosage, not even after the first. Now, that is something that a lot of people have not really understood. And I'm going to try and break it down in a kind of easier manner for you to understand. Basically, what we are trying to do with the vaccine is create antibodies, right? Now, when corona hits our body, it also does exactly the same thing. Most of these vaccines actually simply create that antibody, but none of them can create the antibody overnight, right? We are not being injected by the antibody. Please let's understand that. What we are getting done is telling our body that if something like corona comes inside our body, here is the way to create that antibody. And the body takes a little time to kind of develop it. It basically means that today you got a vaccine, you can just as easily as yesterday get COVID-19 tomorrow. And I think that's been a huge misconception in the minds of people as this vaccine drive has kind of gone ahead. So just because you have been vaccinated, it does not mean that you're going to let your guard down. And that brings us to our fourth point, letting your guards down. As the months passed by and the numbers came down, we thought we had controlled the virus. Couple that with the public distribution of the vaccine, and the fact is we have all been guilty of letting our guards down. We started going to parties, we gave up on social distancing, and basically we thought we had won this war. Sadly, that was not the case. This was a longer war than we imagined, and our carelessness has allowed COVID-19 to prosper again. So those were all the reasons we believe for this new rise of COVID-19. The fact that we have so much more information now means that we are much better prepared to fight this war this time around. Let's take a look at how. First, open vaccinations for all. The young are the ones who are getting infected with COVID-19 the most this time around. Thankfully, the government acted fast in the beginning and our elderly are comparatively secure right now. But that does not mean we let go of the young and the people who are actually out and about on a daily basis. This is a time to allow anybody and everybody to take a vaccination as long as they need to take it. Second, masks and sanitization. Now we must understand that we need to get back to the same routine as we were last year, unless we want another huge lockdown. We are simply better equipped and there is no reason for us to be careless right now. We can end this much faster than we could last time around. Third, social distancing has to come back. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of people around us. We cannot again stand in lines sticking to each other. This has to be a normal culture for all of us to have a basic amount of distance. And it's honestly speaking, beyond the point, it is not even about the virus. Beyond the point, it's about simple hygiene and simply being careful about the environment around us. Fourth, get yourself vaccinated as soon as your turn comes. Now, I understand we discussed that the vaccines might not be 100%, right? But that does not mean that we do not take them. Let's understand this bit first. Getting vaccinated is safer than not getting vaccinated. It's as simple as that. So, whenever our turn comes, all of us must pledge to get vaccinated and make sure that the virus spread is stopped at some points. Nobody wants another lockdown. And trust me, our governments don't want it as well. So that's it from all of us at smartmedicalbuy.com today. If you like this video, press the like button below. If you want to see more such content, do press subscribe and press the bell icon next to it. So you will get to know every time we post a new video. If you have any further questions about what we spoke about today, don't forget to mention it in comments and we will try and answer you or make a video about it. So that's it from us this time. Until next time, goodbye and stay safe.